So a lot of times when I interview people who've done prison time, they talk about Gladiator school.
Yeah.
But there's actually something called Gladiator Wars, where the prisons would intentionally mix inmates on purpose to kind of cause violence. And it would actually come down from headquarters in Sacramento. So this is a real thing?
And that is why I resigned. That is
Okay.
why I resigned. That not only is a real...
Kudos to him for resigning, man. I think resigning was the best option. I mean, I can't imagine how, in good conscience, you can sit there and participate in something like this, right? To create a hazardous condition where inmates are forced to stab and possibly kill each other for your own amusement. I mean, some of these stories that you hear about prison, and I personally have never done time in prison, though I have friends who have, and the stories you hear are really horrible, and it really speaks volume as to why it's important. It's important to kind of push prison reform, and I don't mean some of the nonsense that Meek Mill's doing, where he's pushing prison reform one day and the next he's rapping about all types of nonsense, killing people, and participating in behaviors that could result in members of our youth ending up in prison. And so it encourages that. So I think real prison reform is something that should be considered at the highest level of government. I think the most we've had recently that I've heard about was how, like, for instance, the jail, Rikers Island Jail in New York, was supposed to get shut down, but which was supposed to take maybe like a 10-year process due to the ongoing issues, prison conditions, violence against, inmates on inmates, guards on inmates, inmates on guards. So it's a very real issue, man. And, we say high recidivism is a problem, right? The rate of high recidivism, or rather a high rate of recidivism that we're forced to deal with constantly. But I mean, how do you expect people to be rehabilitated when this is what they're going through? We're not even talking about just survival for your food or, being able to acquire your necessities, basic necessities to maintain a decent living while in prison. But we're talking about being forced to engage in these types of behaviors on behalf of the COs. Like, it's crazy.
Real thing. I was ground zero. I was boots on the ground. We were mixing them.
So you would purposely put Norteños and Sureños together, Crips and Bloods together.
More so, even worse, sensitive needs, SNY, PC, protective because mixed with general population, GP. That's worse.
That's worse.
Yeah, you got child molesters, you got rats, you got dudes, dropouts. I mean, it's like putting two beta fishes together.
Dropouts is people who left gangs.
Correct.
Snitches,
Yes.
they're all in PC.
Yes.
What about celebrities?
Celebrities are PC for the most part, yes.
Do they ever get put into this gladiator
Doubt
war
it.
situation?
No, I don't know of any celebrity that has been put.
You know why? Because despite the fact that they're in prison, they more than likely have the resources to file lawsuits and create a huge commotion, whereas your average person who's in there may not have the funds. And so this is why it's insane how much power money really has, like how much it's able to just kind of like shape your whole world in a sense. It's unbelievable. Like, even with the Epstein situation, if you go back and you look at some of the previous deals that he had in terms of his incarceration, I mean, it was crazy being allowed to basically leave and go do this and do that. Like, we could look at El Chapo's situation. Pablo. You could look at Pablo's Escobar situation, right? We could look at Pablo Escobar's situation as well, with the Medellin cartel, how he was just living lavishly in jail. Like, it's insane. It's insane. And this is why people in impoverished communities always tend to be victims of the system, far more than people who, have resources at their disposal. Far more. They get abused far more.
I don't know if it's
And
sheer
that's
luck or
fucked
just
up.
it just didn't happen.
What celebrities were you around during your time?
Suge Knight,
Suge Knight.
talked to him.
Okay.
I regret not having a good sit-down conversation with Suge Knight, but it was kind of one of those things where, I was always professional and in passing, like, hey, what's up, man? Hey, what's up, LT?
Okay, where was Suge Knight locked up?
Yeah, RJD Donovan, San Diego.
Aha. And how long were you there while he was there?
4 years.
4 years.
A while.
Okay. How was he generally treated in prison?
Good. I mean, everybody knows it's Suge Knight. Dude's big. He has a cane. He was respectful, very respectful. You know, and in prison, that's gauged. That's highly encouraged to be respectful. He's very respectful, good communication skills, and he was doing his thing.
Okay. Was he in PC though?
Do I got to answer that?
I mean, I would like you to. I mean, because this has always been the gray area about Suge Knight. Is he in PC or is he in general population?
He's not on general population.
I mean, you would assume that. He's Suge Knight. He's internationally known. He's tied to Tupac.
People have their own. I mean, I don't know why people go to SNY or protective custody, right? But yeah, the yard he was on was not general population.
Okay. I mean, well, you would think in general population, his life potentially could be in danger.
Yeah, but even on the SNY yard, his life can be in danger. But I hear what you're saying.
Okay.
It's wild right now. It's a straight free-for-all right now.
All right. In protective custody, was he around other celebrities or was it just general? Just protective custody just means general, protective period. So snitches, child molesters.
So protective custody, let's look at that yard in particular. You got Suge Knight. He's a very famous individual.
Correct.
You got a former high-ranking Mexican mafia member on that yard.
Who left?
Who left? Who left?
Okay.
On that same yard, you got 2 buildings with the mentally unstable inmates. So it's giving you an idea of what type of environment it is. And then you got your random dropouts, snitches, sex offenders, rape or child molestation, L&L, under 14, former cops, former COs. That's what it looks like.
Aha. Okay. So what would happen when the prison would put everyone in PC into general population?
I was there. It's a bloodbath. Not only is it a bloodbath because they are messing each other up bad, but I was armed with a 40 millimeter less lethal launcher, and that was me as a lieutenant. So the first time we mixed them, people ask, hey, Hector, why couldn't you stop them? Or why couldn't you say no, right? Why can't you say no that you're not going to mix them? Because we were going through it. We didn't know what was transpiring yet. It was something new. So we hear that they're going to bring 2 busloads of inmates, and they're going to put them on this, at the time, level 1. They started with level 1 dorm setting, the lowest level. But we had the common sense, just because I was on the crisis response team, which is like the SWAT team. So we actually were staged and hidden inside the inmate visiting room, which is kind of shady and sketchy if you think about it. Like, we set them up, knowing they were going to fight. And I was waiting there with a 40 millimeter. So the dorms were occupied by sensitive needs yards inmates, SNY at the time. And they put, I want to say 13 general population inmates on this line and 13 on this line. There's 2 dorms. And we all got on the radio. Hey, they're coming. They're coming from R&R. They're coming from receiving and releasing. They're on their way. And we waited. And as soon as they go into this building, code 3, get down. Code 3. And you're just waiting for your building to go off. And sure as shit, so on that one, this building went off first, right? We jumped the gun on this one, and we ran and we responded. But when we get there, nobody was fighting yet. And this just gives you an idea that they're going to fight. We know they're going to fight, and they're going to fight regardless if we're present or not. And this is what I found unethical. So I get there armed with a 40 millimeter, and I see the one GP inmate surrounded by SNYs. I mean, there's bunk beds, and this is not a good predicament for him. And he's looking at me, they're looking at me, and then they just kicked it off. They didn't care that we were right there. They rushed them. So it was like 9 SNY rushed that short GP guy, and they were getting down. That dude held it down, and here I am shooting, and I'm shooting the SNY guys to get them off, right? Because they're exposed to me.
And this is with the rubber bullets?
With the rubber foam, right? Yeah. And it was a single launcher. So I was reloading pretty fast. I'm pretty effective with it. And then here's the bad part. Well, the whole thing was bad, but here's the really bad part. I've been in riots before, and I know the routine. right? The routine is you cuff everybody up, you do your medical evaluation, then they go to the hole, they go to ADSEG. Well, on this particular time, we zip tied everybody with flex cuffs. We escorted them out to the basketball courts, and somebody told the inmates, hey, we're gonna escort you back in, we're gonna cut off your restraints, and you guys are gonna keep fighting all night until you guys get tired.
Damn.
And my other friend, who's a lieutenant, looked at me and said, hey, what the fuck did they just say out there? And I'm like, dude, this is crazy, right? Like, I'm getting chills just thinking about it because I'm not cool with that, right? I'm not cool with setting up fights, especially when I'm having to use force, right? Maybe when I was younger and you're eager to use force because you're naive or you're dumb or you're trigger happy. But this, I was late in the game and this was unethical. Like, so that's exactly what happened. They bring them back in there and they got off again.
Okay. Were inmates dying during this time?
Oh no, but they were getting messed up bad.
Okay, but inmates are getting killed.
Now.
You know, it's crazy, right? These allegations have been made before, bro. Where it's like people speak about how the COs are manipulated. I mean,
There's something wrong with you.
even how you hear about like doors randomly opening in the middle of the night and then somebody getting stabbed or, you know, somebody getting jumped. I mean, these things happen. So where's the accountability in that? Because everybody's always screaming accountability this, accountability that. But in the prison system where the people who are supposed to watch over the safety of the inmates are participating in this foolishness. Now, I'm not sure what that means, whether there needs to be better screening for who becomes a CO or better protocol in terms of holding COs accountable that participate in this nonsense. I mean, the problem here is that it even takes place at the juvenile level, right? This is a former rapper. It came out a couple years ago after doing a bid and then, you know, enjoy some fame and success as a rapper, but then of course reoffended and then was reinstituted back into prison.
So you just didn't give a fuck.
You don't care. Like, nobody really tells you, or you don't want to hear nobody saying, yo, listen, this is not the way to go. You're gonna end up in jail, you're gonna die, and then picture me telling somebody that knows me. Gonna be like, what? You was out here, don't think you know, you good now. You was.
But see, that's the thing. Somebody has to say it, right? And I feel like a lot of people with, you know, street cred and respect oftentimes shy away from taking that step because it's like he's saying, like, how can you judge me? Like, you did this, you did that. But at the very same time, it's like, you're the only people that they're willing to listen to. Like, who else are they going to listen to? Excuse me. Who else are they going to listen to? A person who's never been through it? A person who's never participated in any of that stuff? Like, we already got, like, you have to fix your own community. You can't expect others to fix it for you. If a regular person can't talk to them, they're calling him a swear. So the only ones that could kind of reach the youth is the people who've been through it, who could be like, you know, OGs, like, you know what, nephew, like, go on, man. You don't want to do that. Sometimes it may fall on deaf ears, but other times kids do catch on to it. It may take time. It may, you know, take a certain circumstance, incident, where they sit back like, damn, like, I remember bro had said this before. Like, if I should have listened, man, if only I'd listened. But you know what? Starting today, or you know what? I got to start making better decisions. Like, this is how it works. But sometimes the older generation don't want to take that step because they don't want to be judged by the younger generation. Stop competing with the youth. You're older now. Like, there's a reason you're older. You're supposed to impart wisdom in the youth, not sit there and try to compete with them and, you know, brush shoulder to shoulder. No, bro. That's the problem I constantly see, like, in our neighborhood sometimes. You'll have a guy who's like 33, 37, and he's hanging out with a bunch of 15, 16-year-olds. You have a guy who's 42, who's hanging out with a bunch of, you know, 21, 22-year-olds. Like, that shit dead, man. It's kind of corny if you ask me, bro. Like, you got to step up. You got to tell the youth what they got to hear, man, whether they like it or not. Like, that's our responsibility in our community. Ain't nobody else going to do it.
Was out here mobbing and robbing. Now you got out the hood. You think that's what I'm gonna say because I said it. They used to be like, chill, Cash, you bugging, man. You gonna die out here, man. You wasn't saying that when you was gang banging, or you wasn't saying that when you was in these streets. I gotta survive, you know what I'm saying? But let me finish what you were saying.
No, I mean, so you were robbing people from what age? Like, how old were you when you had your first robbery?
The trials and tribulations of it is never fun, but the recognition is.
Okay.
You get it? Like, in DFY, you fight for your cookies. They give you like a snack every night. And it's always a couple dudes in the house that be like, don't eat them cookies. Those my cookies. And you like, what? You ain't getting my cookies, they gave this to me. Told you don't eat them cookies. So you end up fighting. And again, you fight for your cookies. There was little stuff like that. That was the trials and tribulations, like the getting punched in the face at a young age. Like, and dealing with COs, like nowadays, I'll be like, dang, like these COs had to be really some ruthless people. Because me now, and I'm still hip if need be, but I'm saying me now, I wouldn't let two little kids fight. They used to let us fight. Like, it used to be fight night. Like, Friday, fight night. Y'all gonna fight. Y'all gonna fight for y'all cookies. Y'all gonna, and you gotta look at it. We really used to have busted lips, black eyes, and that was evil. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I've always wondered why someone would become a CO. Like what? Because,
That was evil.
you know, to sit there and spend your life overseeing people in cages, I never got it.
That was evil, and that's the trials and tribulations. Like, you be like, dang, I gotta wake up today, I gotta fight for my cookies. Or if this dude tell me I can't sit down, I gotta punch him in the face, because it's 20 kids in the room and it's only 10 chairs. So the dudes that's sitting on the chairs basically run the house. You know what I'm saying? And it's from little. As you grow up, it's the same thing in every system. So you go from DFY to Rikers Island to up north to the county. It's just the same program from little.
It's terrible. That is honestly terrible. But it's the reality, man. It's the reality, unfortunately. Which is why it's important, man. It's important that we try to educate the youth and kind of steer them away, you know. But yeah, man, it's really sad. It's unfortunate what some people go through, you know, and which is what's really important to make good decisions in life, to be very, you know, very careful about how you lead your life and the people you surround yourself with. Because this world could be cold, man. You know, this world could be cold. There are people out there who don't care nothing about you. They don't care whether you're alive, whether you're dead. They don't care whether you're in, you know, whether you're in peace or in pieces. You gotta look out for yourself, man. And don't let nobody trick you out your spot. I don't think it's wise to even conform to public opinion when you're in a negative environment to begin with. It's not healthy. It's not in your benefit. You have to look out for yourself. You know, these are some of the things that I had to learn on my own with no guidance either. It's like, at some point, you gotta wake up. You gotta wake up before it's too late, man. Because there are people out here, like I said, who don't care about you whatsoever. And don't wait until it's too late, till you're incarcerated, till you're doing a bid, till you've been attacked, to whatever the case has happened, and you're sitting there like, wow, I don't really got nobody in my corner. That's usually how it is from the jump. You just have common interests. I had to learn that the hard way, man. Not everybody's your friend. Sometimes you guys just have similar interests. You guys have similar enemies. You know, despite the fact that you're all misguided, like it plays out like that sometimes. So you got to look out for yourself, man, and be wise and be careful in the decisions you make. Life is too short. You know, why he's living that type of lifestyle in jail as a youth. You know, there are other kids out there who are participating in, you know, different projects, or who are being built from the ground up to be tomorrow's leaders. While we're sitting there being exposed to corrupt correctional officers who are forcing us to involve ourselves in fights and over cookies for their entertainment. What do you think that does to a kid? It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible.